Have you ever felt that the world is moving just a little too fast? Or that your quiet contributions are being overlooked by those you love? It is a heavy feeling to face the shadows of old regrets or the sting of family conflict, while life seems to change without our permission. Many of us struggle to find steady ground when our roles change, or when we face the challenges of later years. The Stoic teacher Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that you have power over your mind, not outside events. He believed that realizing this is where our true dignity is born. Consider a person like Martha, a simple illustration of someone facing a cold silence from a loved one. Instead of responding with bitterness, she chooses to anchor herself in her own kindness. Today, we will explore 7 principles and a practical 7-day plan to help you find that same stillness. I invite you to listen until the end as we build this foundation together. If you are ready for a steadier heart, please type the words "I control my response." I control my response. The first pillar of our journey is a concept the Stoics called Prohairesis. In simple terms, this is the sovereignty of your choice. It is the faculty of your mind that remains yours, even when your health, your finances, or your social standing are taken away. The Stoics taught that while we are often victims of circumstance, we are never victims of our own character unless we choose to be. This principle suggests that between every external event and your response, there is a small, sacred window of time. In that window, you are the absolute ruler. No emperor, no boss, and no ungrateful family member can enter that space without your permission. In our modern life, practicing this sovereignty has become incredibly difficult. We live in a world designed to trigger us instantly. Technology has removed the natural delays of the past. A rude comment on social media, a stressful news alert, or a sharp text message from a relative reaches us in seconds. We feel a biological pressure to defend ourselves immediately. Our hearts race. Our breath becomes shallow, and we feel that if we do not speak up right now, we have somehow lost. For many of us in our later years, this pressure is doubled by the feeling that we are being ignored or that our wisdom is no longer valued. We react out of a desire to be seen, but in doing so, we often sacrifice our peace. To understand how this looks in a modern home, let us consider an illustrative situation. Imagine a grandmother named Margaret. Margaret is sitting in her favorite chair, enjoying her morning tea, when her phone vibrates. It is a message from an estranged relative, filled with old grievances and unfair accusations. In an instant, Margaret's peaceful morning is gone. Her hands tremble. Her first impulse is to type a long, stinging defense. She wants to remind them of everything she has done for them. She wants to win the argument. Her mind becomes a frantic newsroom, shouting headlines of hurt and betrayal. In this moment, Margaret is about to hand over her happiness to someone who is not even in the room with her. The Stoic teachers looked at situations like this with a very clear eye. They taught that Margaret's peace does not depend on what is written in that text message. It depends entirely on what Margaret decides the message means. Epictetus, who spent the early part of his life as a slave, understood this better than anyone. He had no control over his body or his daily chores, but he realized his masters could never own his mind. Epictetus wrote, "No man is free who is not master of himself." He observed that when we allow someone else's anger to make us angry, we are essentially handing them the keys to our house and letting them move the furniture around. Margaret's relative sent a message, which is an external event. But Margaret's decision to feel insulted is an internal choice. By recognizing this, she can step back into her inner citadel. Apply this principle when you feel betrayed by a long-term friend or when you feel overthinking is keeping you awake at night. When a betrayal happens, the Stoic perspective is that the other person has damaged their own integrity, which is a tragedy for them. But you still have your integrity. You do not need to join them in their chaos. If you are overthinking a past mistake, remind yourself that the event is now in the outer circle of things that cannot be changed. Your only task is to handle the present moment with dignity, to make this principle real in your life. I invite you to practice what we call the sunset delay rule. This is a practical way to reclaim the space between stimulus and response. Step number 1. When you receive a sting, a piece of news or a comment that hurts or angers you, do not respond. Put the phone down or walk out of the room. Step number 2. Look at the clock. If it is before sunset, tell yourself that you are not allowed to respond until the sun goes down. If it is already evening, you must wait until the sun rises the next morning. Step number 3. During this waiting period, ask yourself, will this matter in 1 year? Most of the time, the answer is no. This delay gives your emotional brain time to cool down and your rational mind time to take the lead. It allows you to respond as the person you want to be, rather than the person your anger wants you to be. This practice is especially helpful for those of us who find ourselves caring for others or navigating complex family dynamics. It restores your sense of power. You are no longer a leaf blown about by the wind of other people's moods. You are the anchor. You are the steady oak. Before we move to the next principle, take a moment to settle into this idea. You own your mind. You own your yes and your no. No matter what happened yesterday, today you can choose a different response. If you are committed to reclaiming your quiet strength, please go to the comments and type, I am the master of my response. I am the master of my response. By typing these words, you are laying a brick in your own inner citadel. You are telling yourself and this community that your peace is not for sale. It is a slow process. But every time you choose to wait, every time you choose to breathe instead of bark, you are becoming unbreakable. Remember, the Stoics did not ask for a life without storms. They asked for the strength to be the pilot who stays calm while the waves crash. You have that strength within you right now. It has been there all along, waiting for you to claim it. Permit yourself to be still. Permit yourself to choose your own path. I am the master of my response. Say it quietly to yourself as you breathe. I am the master of my response. The second pillar we must explore is a beautiful and challenging concept known as amor fati. This is a Latin phrase that translates to the love of fate. It is one of the most misunderstood ideas in all of Stoicism because it asks us to go far beyond simple acceptance. Most of us are taught to tolerate our hardships. We try to grit our teeth and get through the difficult seasons of life, hoping they will end soon so that our real life can finally begin again. But the Stoics believed that your real life is happening right now, especially in the moments that are the most difficult. Amor fati means not wishing for anything in your life to be different. not even the parts that cause you pain. It is the art of looking at a crisis and saying, "This is exactly what I needed to become the person I was meant to be." Whatever your personal faith or background, there is a profound dignity in choosing to embrace your reality instead of fighting it. When you love your fate, you stop being a victim of your circumstances, and you become the author of your own story. In our modern world, this is incredibly difficult to practice. We are constantly surrounded by messages telling us that life should be easy, comfortable, and full of constant travel and excitement. We look at images of other people's perfect lives on our screens, and we feel that we have been cheated if our own lives are quiet, repetitive, or filled with duty. For many of us, in our middle and later years, this difficulty often takes the form of caregiving, whether you are looking after an aging parent, a sick spouse, or even navigating your own declining health. It is very easy to fall into the trap of asking, "Why me? Why is my life so limited?" We feel a sense of resentment because our plans have been cancelled. We feel that we are wasting our years on mundane tasks like preparing meals, managing medications, or sitting in hospital waiting rooms. This resentment acts like a poison. It eats away at our energy and makes the burden feel twice as heavy. We are not just fighting the illness, we are fighting the fact that the illness exists at all. To see this through a modern lens, let us look at an illustrative situation involving a man named Robert. Robert is in his early 70s. He worked hard for 40 years and looked forward to a retirement filled with travel and woodworking. But 3 years ago, his wife's health began to decline. Now, Robert's life is confined to their home. His days are no longer his own. They are filled with helping his wife move from the bed to the chair, managing her complicated diet, and keeping track of countless appointments. Robert misses the life he thought he would have. He feels invisible to the world. Sometimes, as he sits by her bed in the quiet of the afternoon, he feels a deep, cold sense of regret. He feels as though his fire has gone out and he is merely waiting for the time to pass. Robert is accepting his fate, but he is not yet loving it. He is surviving his duty, but he is not yet finding his strength within it. The Stoic teachers would look at Robert's life and offer a powerful shift in perspective. They did not see caregiving or hardship as a distraction from a good life. They saw it as the very material of a great life. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor who led his people through a devastating plague and constant warfare, understood that a leader's duty is often heavy and thankless. He wrote, "A blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it." He believed that the mind is like that fire. When a log is thrown onto a small flame, it might go out. But when a log is thrown into a great fire, the fire consumes it and grows even taller and brighter. For Robert, every difficult hour and every repetitive task is a new log for his fire. If he can shift his mind to amor fati, he realizes that he is not just a caregiver. He is a man practicing the highest forms of loyalty, patience, and love. The very things that seem to be breaking him are actually the things that can make him the most resilient version of himself. You can apply this principle when you are dealing with a partner's chronic illness, your own physical limitations, or when you feel that life has let you down. Apply it when you are stuck in a situation you cannot change. Instead of saying, "I have to do this," try saying, I was made for this. If you are facing a physical challenge of your own, look at your body, not with anger, but with a stoic appreciation for what it can still do. If you have been betrayed or let down by someone you trusted, use that experience to deepen your own integrity. Do not just tolerate the pain. Use the pain to sharpen your character, to bring amor fati into your daily life. I invite you to try a practice called the virtue label. This is a way to change the narrative of your day from one of drudgery to one of growth. Step number 1. Identify your hardest task. Think of the one thing you have to do today that makes you feel the most resentful or exhausted. It might be a difficult conversation, a tedious household chore, or a medical appointment. Step number 2. Take 5 minutes of quiet time. Sit comfortably and breathe slowly. Instead of thinking about the task itself, think about the virtue it requires. Step number 3. Rename the task with that virtue. Stop saying, "I am cleaning the house." Say to yourself, "I am practicing the virtue of order." Stop saying, "I am helping my spouse get dressed." Say, "I am practicing the virtue of devotion." Stop saying, "I am going to a difficult doctor's visit." Say, "I am practicing the virtue of fortitude." By labeling your actions this way, you are reminding your soul that you are not just performing a chore. You are building a character. You are turning the mundane into the magnificent. You are taking the obstacles that life has thrown at you, and you are turning them into fuel for your inner fire. This is how you begin to love your fate. You begin to see that without these challenges, you would never have known the depth of your own strength. This practice is especially powerful for those of us who feel the weight of responsibility in our later years. It restores your dignity. It reminds you that no matter how small your world may seem from the outside, your internal world can be vast and heroic. You are doing work that matters. You are being the person you were meant to be. If you are ready to stop fighting your reality and start using it to grow, I invite you to join our community in the comments. Take a deep breath and type these words. I turn my obstacles into fuel. I turn my obstacles into fuel. By typing this, you are making a quiet promise to yourself. You are choosing to be the blazing fire that Marcus Aurelius spoke of. You are deciding that nothing life throws at you will go to waste. It will all be used to make you stronger, kinder, and more at peace. Remember, the goal of Stoicism is not to have an easy life, but to have a soul that is great enough for any life. You are already on this path. You are already doing the hard work. Now, give yourself the gift of loving the journey. Be the fire. Turn the wood into light. I turn my obstacles into fuel. Say it one more time to yourself. I turn my obstacles into fuel. The third pillar of our journey is a profound spiritual and mental exercise the Stoics called the view from above. This principle invites us to step outside of our immediate personal drama and expand our perspective until we can see the entire span of time and the vastness of nature. Most of us spend our lives looking through a very narrow lens. We focus on our own small circle, our own mistakes, and our own immediate pains. But the Stoics believed that true tranquility comes when we realize that our individual lives are part of a much larger tapestry. They encouraged their students to imagine looking down at the earth from a great height. From that distance, the borders between countries disappear. The noise of the city becomes a whisper. and the events that felt catastrophic in the moment begin to look like tiny, flickering points of light. This is not about making your life feel unimportant. Rather, it is about finding the proper scale for your worries. When you expand your view, you realize that you are never truly alone, and that your struggles are part of the ancient, shared experience of being human. In our modern world, this perspective is incredibly difficult to maintain. As we reach the season of life that many call life's winter, our world often begins to feel smaller. We may find ourselves spending more time at home, and our minds often drift backward into the past. We dwell on the what-ifs. What if I had taken that other job? What if I had stayed in that city? What if I had been a better parent or a more patient spouse? This is the epidemic of regret. We tend to overthink mistakes we made 30 or 40 years ago, as if we could somehow change them by thinking about them more intensely. Modern culture often encourages this by telling us that we should have no regrets and that everything should have been perfect. When reality falls short of that perfection, we punish ourselves. We keep the pain of old betrayals or lost opportunities alive in the present moment, allowing a ghost from the past to haunt our current peace. To illustrate how this weight feels in a modern life, let us look at a fictional but very familiar situation involving a retired professional named Thomas. For decades, Thomas was defined by his career. He had a title, a busy schedule, and a sense of being someone in his community. But now, in his late 60s, the office is gone, and the phone has stopped ringing. Thomas spends his mornings looking at old photographs and dusty awards. He finds himself trapped in a loop of regret. He remembers a specific career path he turned down 30 years ago, a path that he believes would have led to more wealth and higher status. He feels that his current life is a lesser version of what could have been. He looks at his quiet house and feels a loss of position. To Thomas, that 30-year-old decision feels like a giant wall that blocks his current happiness. He is looking at his life through a magnifying glass, focusing only on the crack in the stone instead of the beauty of the entire cathedral. The Stoic teachers offered a direct remedy for the kind of regret that Thomas is experiencing. They reminded us that the past is what they called an indifferent thing. This does not mean that the past does not matter. It means that because the past is finished and outside of our control, it should no longer have the power to disturb our internal character. Seneca, a Stoic who faced great political turmoil and personal loss, understood that our suffering often comes from our own thoughts rather than from the events themselves. Seneca wrote, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality." He observed that Thomas is not being hurt by a decision made 30 years ago. He is being hurt by his imagination of how much better life might have been. By practicing the view from above, Thomas can see that his career was just one small chapter in a very long story. He can see that even the most successful emperors and the most powerful leaders eventually face the same quiet retirement and the same passage of time. His regret is a trick of the mind that forgets how vast and varied a human life truly is. You can apply this principle when you are struggling with a past betrayal, or when you feel the heavy weight of overthinking. Apply it when you feel that you have lost your status or your identity. When someone betrays you, use the view from above to see that people have been betraying one another since the beginning of time. It is a part of the human landscape. By seeing it from a distance, you realize that their actions are a reflection of their character, not a permanent stain on your soul. If you are overthinking a mistake, remind yourself that in the grand timeline of the universe, your error is a tiny, invisible speck. The stars do not stop shining because you made a wrong turn years ago. The earth continues to turn. You are allowed to let go of the magnifying glass and look at the horizon instead, to help you release the weight of the past and find your inner anchor. I invite you to practice what we call the centennial walk. This is a simple 10-minute exercise that you can do in your backyard, a local park, or even by a window. Step number 1. Find a quiet place in nature and stand or sit still for 3 minutes. Do not check your phone or look at a clock. Simply notice the world around you. Step number 2. Find one object that is older than you are. It might be a large oak tree, a weathered stone, or even the hills in the distance. Focus your eyes on this object for 4 minutes. Step number 3. Realize that this object was here before your parents were born, and it will likely be here after you are gone. Think about the mistake or the regret that has been bothering you. Compare that regret to the age of the stone or the tree. See your mistake for what it truly is: a tiny grain of sand in the vast desert of time. During these final minutes, imagine your life as a single thread in a beautiful, infinite tapestry. Your thread has some knots and some tangles, and that is perfectly natural. Every thread does, but the tapestry is still magnificent. By the end of these 10 minutes, permit yourself to leave the regret there, beside the stone or under the tree. It is no longer yours to carry. This practice is deeply comforting for those of us who feel the quiet pressure of life's later years. It restores your sense of belonging. It reminds you that you are not a failure because of a past choice. You are a part of a grand, natural order that is far older and wiser than your current worries. You are finding your place in the sun. If you are ready to let go of the what-ifs and start living in the dignity of the present, I invite you to join our community in the comments. Take a slow, deep breath and type these words: I release what I cannot change. I release what I cannot change. By typing this, you are making a conscious choice to put down the heavy bags of the past. You are deciding that your imagination will no longer be a source of pain, but a source of peace. You are choosing to look at your life with the kindness and the perspective of a Stoic. Remember, your life is not defined by the mistakes of yesterday, but by the character you show today. You are still here. You are still growing, and the view from above is beautiful. I release what I cannot change. Say it once more to the quiet of your room. I release what I cannot change. In this part of our journey, we introduce a tool we call the Commenter's Compass. This is a set of specific applications designed to help you navigate the storms that appear most often in your life, such as the sting of betrayal or the heavy clouds of overthinking. The core principle here is the Stoic understanding of integrity. The Stoics believed that your character is the only thing that truly belongs to you. Every other person in your life, your friends, your family, even your children, is external to your soul. While you can love them and care for them, you cannot control their actions. This principle suggests that when someone else behaves poorly, they are damaging their own nature. They are moving away from the light of their own reason. You, however, remain intact. You do not lose your value because someone else failed to see it. Your peace is like a compass. It does not change its direction just because the weather becomes stormy. In our modern world, applying this is very difficult because we are so deeply connected. We live in a culture that measures our worth by our relationships and our social standing. When a long-term friend turns their back on us, or a family member breaks our trust, it feels as though a part of our own identity has been stolen. We feel a deep sense of injustice. We want the other person to realize what they have done. We want them to feel the same pain they caused us. For many of us who have reached our later years, betrayal feels even more painful because we feel that we have less time to build new connections. We feel a sense of waste. Thinking about the decades of loyalty we gave to someone who did not deserve it. This leads to a cycle of overthinking where we replay the betrayal over and over, trying to solve a puzzle that has no solution. To see how the commenter's compass works, let us look at an illustrative situation involving a woman named Susan. Susan is 65 years old and has been a dedicated member of her community and her local church group for 20 years. Recently, she discovered that a close friend had been spreading unkind rumors about her behind her back. Susan is devastated. She feels a cold knot in her stomach every time she thinks about it. She finds herself sitting in her kitchen at night, wondering why this happened. She thinks about every kindness she ever showed this person. She feels small and foolish. Her first instinct is to call everyone in the group and defend herself. To fight fire with fire. Susan is currently a prisoner of her own hurt. She is allowing her friend's lack of integrity to destroy her own tranquility. The Stoic teachers would look at Susan's situation and offer a perspective that is both firm and deeply compassionate. They would remind Susan that her friend's dishonesty is a reflection of her friend's character, not Susan's. By spreading rumors, the friend has lost something infinitely more valuable than Susan's reputation. The friend has lost their own honesty. Marcus Aurelius, who dealt with countless betrayals from his own generals and advisers, wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." He believed that the moment Susan begins to act with bitterness or spreads rumors in return, she has lost the battle. She has become the very thing that hurt her. By using the compass, Susan can say to herself, "My friend has lost her integrity. I have only lost a false friend. My soul is still whole. My character is still my own." This application is vital when you are being betrayed. Remind yourself that the person who hurt you has harmed their own soul far more than they have harmed your life. They are walking in darkness. You are still walking in the light of your own values. Apply this also when you find yourself overthinking. When your mind begins to spin with worry about the future or regret about the past, stop and identify the thought. The Stoics taught that we must separate the event from the story we tell ourselves. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Reject your sense of injury, and the injury itself disappears." He observed that overthinking is the real injury. The thought, "They hurt me," is just a thought. It is not a physical wall. It is not a permanent trap. You can choose to reject the judgment and simply focus on the facts. To help you apply these principles right now, I invite you to practice the integrity audit. This is a practical exercise to use whenever you feel betrayed or overwhelmed by overthinking. Step number 1. Take 10 minutes to sit in a quiet chair. Close your eyes and breathe slowly. Identify the person or the situation that is causing you pain. Step number 2. For 5 minutes, Think only about your own character. Ask yourself, have I stayed true to my values? Have I acted with kindness? Have I done my best? If the answer is yes, then recognize that your inner house is still in good order. Nothing the other person did has changed the quality of your own soul. Step number 3. For the remaining 5 minutes, imagine the other person's burden. Realize that a person who betrays or lies is living in a state of confusion and fear. They are not happy. They are moving away from peace. Instead of feeling anger, try to feel a quiet sense of pity for them. They have lost their way. You have found yours. Step number 4. If you are overthinking, use the 5-word filter. When a painful thought arises, repeat these 5 words to yourself. This is only a thought. This is only a thought. Do this for 2 minutes until the emotional energy begins to fade. By practicing this audit, you are reclaiming your position as the pilot of your own life. You are deciding that your peace of mind is too valuable to be traded for someone else's poor behavior. You are finding the quiet strength to be the oak tree, even when the people around you are like the wind. This is how you maintain your dignity in a world that can often feel unkind. You are not alone in this. We are all practicing this together, one breath at a time. This practice is especially healing for those of us who carry the weight of long-term family friction or the echoes of past betrayals. It allows you to wash your hands of the drama. It permits you to be happy even if someone else is not behaving well. You are free. You are sovereign. You are the master of your own internal world. If you are ready to stop letting other people's actions dictate your happiness, I invite you to make a commitment to your own integrity. Join our community in the comments and take a moment to settle your heart. Type these words. My peace is my power. My peace is my power. By typing this, you are drawing a line in the sand. You are telling the world that your character is your own and your tranquility is not for sale. You are choosing to be the person who responds with dignity instead of reacting with hurt. You are becoming a beacon of stillness. Remember, the Stoics did not aim for a life without people who let them down. They aimed for a heart that was so well anchored that no betrayal could pull them out to sea. You have that anchor. You have that strength. And you are doing beautifully. My peace is my power. Let the words settle in your mind as you go about your day. My peace is my power. The 6th pillar of our journey is the 7-day dignity protocol. This is a structured plan based on the Stoic principle of ascesis, which translates to disciplined practice. The Stoics believed that wisdom is not a destination you reach, but a craft you practice every single day. They often compared philosophy to a gym for the soul. Just as you would not expect to become physically strong by simply reading a book about exercise, you cannot become mentally resilient by just listening to ideas. You must handle the tools. You must lift the weights of your own challenges. This protocol is designed to help you move from being a listener to being a builder. It is a commitment to your own character. It is a way to prove to yourself that your peace is not a lucky accident, but a deliberate creation. Regardless of the season of life you are in, this protocol offers a way to reclaim your sense of purpose and calm. In our modern life, this kind of disciplined practice is very difficult to maintain. We are living in an era of constant distraction and instant gratification. We are told that every problem has a quick fix and that we should always be searching for the next secret to happiness. This makes the slow, steady work of character building feel boring or unnecessary. For many of us in our middle or later years, we have also developed habits of worry and reaction that have been with us for 40 or 50 years. These habits are like deep grooves in a road. It is very easy for our minds to fall back into the same old patterns of overthinking, resentment, or fear. We might feel that we are too old to change, or that our circumstances are too heavy for a simple plan to work. But the Stoics believed that as long as you are breathing, you have the capacity to choose a new direction. The difficulty is not in the plan itself, but in the willingness to be consistent when the world is loud. To see how this protocol can change a life, let us look at an illustrative situation involving a woman named Evelyn. Evelyn is 68 years old and recently retired. Her house is often full of the energy and noise of her grandchildren, and she frequently feels overwhelmed by the needs of her adult children. She finds herself constantly on edge, reacting to every small mess or every sharp word with a burst of anxiety. She feels that she has lost her center. She wants to be the wise, calm grandmother she imagined, but instead, she feels like a person who is constantly being pushed around by the moods of others. Evelyn realizes that she needs more than just inspiration. She needs a map. She needs a way to anchor her soul so that she can be a beacon of peace for her family rather than a reflection of their chaos. The Stoic teachers would look at Evelyn with great compassion and offer her a way to train her mind. They understood that life does not get easier, but we can become stronger. Seneca, who was a tutor to an emperor and a man who faced immense pressure, understood that learning is a lifelong duty. Seneca wrote, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." He did not say that you should learn for a few years and then stop. He meant that every morning is a new classroom. By following a structured protocol, Evelyn can stop trying to change her family and start changing her own response. She can learn to build her inner citadel brick by brick. She can move from a state of constant reaction to a state of quiet sovereignty. This is the goal of the protocol. It is to help you become the master of your own internal world. No matter what is happening in the world outside, you can apply this protocol when you are navigating a difficult transition like retirement, or when you feel that your family dynamics have become a source of constant stress. Apply it when you feel that you are losing your sense of self in the service of others. By following these 7 days, you are giving yourself a gift. You are deciding that your dignity is worth the effort. Here is the 7-day dignity protocol. I invite you to start this tomorrow morning. Days 1 and 2 are about identifying the outer circle. For these 2 days, your only task is to notice when you are worrying about things you cannot change. This includes the weather, the news, the past, and especially the opinions of other people. Step number 1. Carry a small piece of paper with you. Step number 2. Whenever you feel a surge of anxiety, ask, "Is this in my control?" If the answer is no, write it down and then physically cross it out with a dark pen. Step number 3. Spend 5 minutes each evening looking at your list. Realize that by crossing these things out, you are permitting yourself to stop carrying them. You are lightening your load. Days 3 and 4 are about the 3-breath rule. This is your training in emotional sovereignty. Step number 1. In every single conversation, whether it is on the phone, in person, or even in a text message, you must wait for 3 full breaths before you respond. Step number 2. During those 3 breaths, Look at the other person with kindness. Remind yourself that they are also a human being, struggling with their own shadows. Step number 3. Choose a response that reflects your values, not your impulses. If you cannot think of a kind response, choose silence. Silence is a valid Stoic answer. Days 5 and 6 are about the evening review. This is your time for honesty, accountability. Step number 1. Spend 10 minutes sitting in a quiet chair before you go to bed. Do not have any lights on except perhaps a small candle. Step number 2. Ask yourself 3 questions. What did I do well today? Where did my character fail? And what one thing can I do better tomorrow? Step number 3. Speak the answers out loud in the quiet room. This makes them real. This is not about judging yourself. It is about being a mentor to your own soul. Day number 7 is about the legacy of peace. On this final day, your goal is to be the anchor for everyone around you. Step number 1. Make a conscious decision as soon as you wake up that you will not complain about anything today. Not the rain, not your aches and pains, and not the behavior of others. Step number 2. Actively seek out opportunities to offer a calm word or a steady presence to someone else. Step number 3. Notice how it feels to be the source of peace in a room. This is the legacy you are building. By the end of these 7 days, you will notice a shift. The world hasn't changed, but you have proven that you can be the master of your own mind. You have laid 7 bricks in your inner citadel. This is not a one-time event. It is a way of life. If you are ready to start this journey and build your own inner strength, I invite you to join our community and make your declaration. Take a slow, deep breath and type these words in the comments. I build my peace brick by brick. I build my peace brick by brick. By typing this, you are committing to the work. You are telling yourself that you are worth the effort of this protocol. You are joining a group of builders who are all working on their own citadels. You are not alone. We are all walking this path together. Remember, the Stoics did not ask for a life without challenges. They asked for the discipline to handle them with grace. You have that discipline. You have that heart. Start your day number 1 tomorrow and see what happens when you choose your own dignity. I build my peace brick by brick. Let it be your quiet mantra as you sleep tonight. I build my peace brick by brick. The 7th and final pillar of our journey is what we call the daily anchor. This is the practice of using morning and evening routines to create a sense of order in a world that often feels chaotic. The Stoic principle behind this is the idea of the bookends of the day. The Stoics believed that if you start your morning with intention and end your evening with reflection, the hours in between are much harder to lose. They did not believe in leaving their character to chance. Just as a captain inspects his ship before leaving the harbor, and again when he returns to port, the Stoics inspected their minds. These routines are not about being more productive or checking off a list of tasks. They are about maintaining your internal sovereignty. They are a way to remind yourself, regardless of your personal faith or background, that you are the builder of your own day. By claiming these few minutes for yourself, you are deciding that your tranquility is more important than the noise of the world. In our modern life, these bookends have been almost destroyed. Most people begin their day by reaching for a phone before their eyes are even fully awake. They immediately flood their minds with news of tragedies, political arguments, or the curated lives of strangers. They start their day in a state of reaction, feeling anxious, behind, or irritated before they have even taken their first breath of fresh air. In the evening, the pattern continues. People fall asleep to the blue light of a screen, filled with the images of things they cannot change and the voices of people they do not know. For those of us in our middle and later years, this is especially damaging. We may feel a sense of loneliness or a worry about the future, and these modern habits only feed those fears. We have lost the sacred silence of the morning and the honest reflection of the night. We are living in a house with no doors, allowing every gust of wind from the outside world to blow through our living rooms. To see how this looks in real life, let us look at an illustrative situation involving a man named Arthur. Arthur is 72 years old and lives alone. For years, his routine was to wake up and immediately turn on the television news. He would listen to reports of conflict and economic decline while he made his coffee. By 8 in the morning, Arthur felt heavy and discouraged. He felt that the world was a dark place and that he had no role in it. Throughout the blank day, he would overthink the news, feeling a sense of powerlessness. In the evening, he would sit in his chair and ruminate on his own health, or the fact that his children hadn't called. He would go to bed with a mind that was spinning, feeling that his day had simply happened to him, rather than him living his day. Arthur had no anchor. He was a ship adrift in a sea of modern noise. The Stoic teachers would offer Arthur a different way to live. They believed that the first and last moments of the day belonged to the soul. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor who had every reason to be stressed by the world, began his days with a very specific mental rehearsal. He wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." He would also warn himself that he would encounter difficult, ungrateful, and arrogant people throughout the day. He did this not to be negative, but to remove the element of surprise. By expecting the storm, he could remain calm when it arrived. In the evening, the Stoic Seneca practiced a different kind of ritual. He would wait until the house was silent and then review his entire day. Seneca wrote, "When the light has been removed and my wife has fallen silent, I examine my entire day and go back over what I have done and said, hiding nothing from myself." For Seneca, this was not about guilt. It was about being a kind and honest mentor to himself. You can apply these routines when you are feeling the weight of overthinking or when you are navigating a season of loneliness. Apply them when you feel that your life is becoming a series of reactions to other people's agendas. If you are struggling with a family conflict, the morning routine allows you to decide in advance how you will maintain your dignity. If you are struggling with regret, the evening routine allows you to look at your mistakes, learn from them, and then leave them in the past where they belong. These bookends provide a sense of control and peace that the outside world can never give you. To help you build your own daily anchor, I invite you to practice this 10-minute routine starting tomorrow. First is the morning anchor. This takes exactly 5 minutes. Step number 1. Do not check your phone or the news. For the first 5 minutes of your day, stay in the silence. Step number 2. While you are making your tea or sitting by the window, ask yourself one question. What is likely to challenge my peace today? And how will I meet it with dignity? Step number 3. Visualize yourself facing that challenge. Whether it is a physical ache, a difficult conversation, or a long wait. With a calm heart, say to yourself, I am prepared for this day. Next is the evening anchor. This also takes exactly 5 minutes. Step number 1. Sit in a quiet chair with the lights dimmed. Let the day settle around you. Step number 2. Review your actions without judgment. Ask yourself, what did I do well today? Where did I lose my way? What can I do better tomorrow? Step number 3. If you had a difficult day, speak these words to yourself. I forgive my mistakes, and I will do better tomorrow. If you had a good day, say, I am grateful for the strength I showed today. Step number 4. Close your eyes and realize that the day is now done. It is in the outer circle. You have done your best, and you can now rest. By practicing these routines, you are reclaiming the most important real estate in your life, your own mind. You are proving that your character is not a reaction to the news, but a reflection of your values. You are finding a way to be the anchor, even when the world around you feels like a storm. This is how you build a legacy of peace. This is how you live with a steady heart. This practice is especially healing for those of us who feel that our days are becoming repetitive or that our status has changed. It reminds you that every single morning is a new opportunity to practice virtue. Every evening is an opportunity to find closure. You are not a spectator in your own life. You are the captain. If you are ready to stop letting the world dictate your mood and start building your own anchor, I invite you to join our community in the comments. Take a slow, quiet breath and type these words. I am the builder of my day. I am the builder of my day. By typing this, you are committing to those 10 minutes of silence. You are deciding that your peace of mind is worth more than a news alert. You are choosing to walk through the world with your head held high and your heart anchored in wisdom. You are doing a great job. Remember, the goal of the Stoic routine is not to be perfect. It is to be present. It is to be the person who wakes up with intention and goes to sleep with a clear conscience. You have that power within you right now. I am the builder of my day. Let that be the final thought in your mind before you sleep tonight. I am the builder of my day. As we come to the end of our time together, let us remember the stories we have shared. Think of Margaret, who chose the silence of her own dignity over the noise of a hurtful message. Think of Robert, who found a heroic light in the quiet service of caregiving. And think of Thomas, who learned to leave his regrets under the shade of an ancient tree. These are not just stories. They are mirrors reflecting the strength that already lives inside you. The Stoic journey is not a race to reach a finish line of perfection. It is a way of walking through the world with your head held high. Regardless of the storms that may blow, it is the realization that your life is not a series of accidents, but a work of architecture. You are not a finished product. You are architecture under construction. And the most important thing to remember is this. You are the builder, and the building is your character. You are the builder, and the building is your character. Tomorrow morning is a fresh opportunity to lay a new brick. I invite you to begin day number 1 of your dignity protocol. Start with your 5-minute morning anchor. Ask yourself how you will meet your challenges with grace. And then step into the world as the pilot of your own soul. Whether you are facing a family conflict, a health struggle, or a moment of loneliness, remember that you have the power to be the steady oak tree. I would like to hear from you. What is one small commitment you will make to yourself today? It could be as simple as waiting 3 breaths before speaking, or spending 10 minutes in the morning silence. Please share your commitment in the comments below. By writing it down, you are making it real. And when you read the commitments of others, you will realize that you are part of a kind and growing community of people who are all building their own citadels. If this time together has brought you a sense of calm, please consider joining our community by subscribing and sharing this with someone who might need a steady word today. We are all walking this path together, one choice at a time. Before we depart, let us settle on one final affirmation to carry with us. Please go to the comments and type, "I am the builder of my peace. I am the builder of my peace." Finally, please remember that the ideas we have shared are offered for reflection and personal growth. They are not a substitute for professional mental health support, medical advice, or pastoral care. If you are going through a season that feels too heavy to carry alone, please reach out to someone you trust or a qualified professional. There is great strength in seeking support when it is needed. Be kind to yourself today. Practice your stillness, and remember that your dignity is a light that no one else can blow out. We will walk this path together again soon. I am the builder of my peace. I am the builder of my peace.